So there's a little bit of example here. Whoop.
Every time I make a mistake, the cracks get wider.
Yeah, I haven't done this yet, so... Okay, I have my AoE here, which is my right click. So it puts like a dot on them, like this poison thing. I'm gonna go ahead and power up my damage, and boom. What is up, my ninjas? Shinobi here, and today I'm introducing you guys to The Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing 3. I know, that's a mouthful, and quite a long title. For the sake of this video, and for now on, I'm just going to literally call it Van Helsing 3. So what this is the third installment of the Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing saga. This one right here just came out on March 22nd, and I never got a chance to play Van Helsing 1 or 2. And it's something that I wanted to get around to, but I was so busy with playing Diablo 3, and... you know, I recently picked this up, and I've been trying it out a little bit, and I've seen some features of the game so far, so this is going to be some of my first impressions of the game. So what is Van Helsing 3? You know, what type of game of it is it? What is it about and everything like that? Well, it's an action RPG, and there's a lot of elements in this game that are kind of similar to like Path of Exile, Diablo 2, there's some elements of Diablo 3. Like, it's an action RPG. I mean, it's what you expect. But, you know, what separates this game from other games that I've seen so far is that they take a lot of really cool elements of these, you know, of the genre of action RPGs and kind of put them into one game. And there's a lot of cool things that I want to talk about and show you guys in here. Now, with that said, the company Neo Games, which actually made this game, they were nice enough to hook us up with a bunch of game codes, which I'm going to be giving away on my live stream. Now, I'm about to start up the live stream, but as you're seeing this video, I'm probably live right now. You can come on over. I'm going to be giving away the trilogy of the games. So it's going to be 1, 2, and 3, and I'll be playing this one, the third one, on the stream. Be going through the story mode and going through a couple different things and all that. So if you want to come over and try and win, you know, this kind of stuff, then that's awesome. And if I do make more videos of this, I'm going to try to make it a regular thing to give away copies of the game for you guys here on the YouTube channel and as well as on my live streams. So definitely exciting stuff, and happy to hook you guys up with that kind of stuff. So let's go ahead and get into some of the stuff here and kind of break things down for you and show you a couple things that I've discovered so far that I think are pretty cool about this game. So first off, you have your single player, which is story mode. You can do story mode with other people. Now, I may make some comparisons in this game to games like Diablo 3, which is something you guys are familiar with. It's not a comparison to be like, this is better or this is worse or something like that. It's just so that you kind of understand and comprehend what it is that it is. So, you know, I'll be like, oh, this is similar to this in Diablo 3. For instance, story mode is like campaign in Diablo 3, and you can play with other people in it, and all you have to do is go into the multiplayer. Now, the scenario does unlock later on. I've never tried this yet, and I will definitely try it out, but it unlocks character level 27, and right now I'm level 7 on this character. And that's what I'm doing, is going through story mode right now, but I'm probably going to make a brand new fresh character for the live stream and go through from start to finish. I don't know how much time is put into the game. I don't know how much you know, that's required to get the cap level. I don't really know just how much content there is in the game so far, and that is kind of the thing with action RPGs, is what separates a good action RPG from a great action RPG is how much there is to do in it. You know, do you just get the cap level and then there's really nothing else to do in the game? Like, why are you farming gear? You know, like Diablo 3 back in the early times before we had greater rifts, you know, there wasn't really anything to do once you found all the gear and everything. But in this game, there are a few things from what I can see so far. So I'm going to show you some of this right here. So in the multiplayer, you can create a custom game, and I do like this layout here. It kind of reminds me of like Diablo 2, kind of like making a game. You can put a password on it. You can have people come in and come play with you. They can come through and select things, and they can select difficulties and stuff. So instead of just kind of like in Diablo 3 where like you do public games, you just kind of get thrown into something, whereas this you can kind of be a little bit more specific on what you want to go into, so you can see which map they're on and everything like that. But when you go into quick game, you have story mode and you have nightmare scenario, so I guess that's a scenario that I'll be able to do later on. But this game also has PvP game mode. So when I saw that, I didn't know this originally when I first started playing the game, that I looked at, I was like, what? There's PvP in here? So you have Battle Royale and you have Touchdown. Now, I'm not really sure what either of these are. Just from the names itself, Touchdown sounds kind of similar to like a capture the flag type thing, I guess, or like, you know, conquering certain areas of the map. And then you also have Battle Royale, which sounds more like a team deathmatch type thing, like originally, like, you know, Blizzard wanted to do with Diablo 3 before Diablo 3 came out. So I haven't tried any of this out yet, and I will definitely explore into it a little bit. But so far, so these are some of the things that you have here to look forward to later on. Maybe something you want to do when you're higher level, or maybe you can do it when you're lower level. I don't really know yet, but definitely, you know, gonna find out in the future here. So let's go into the options real quick, because there are some things that I want to point out if you are picking up this game and you want to try it out yourself. Some options that I felt were a little helpful for me. So in the gameplay settings, you can hide hat, which is kind of cool. You can turn off blood if you want it to. Maybe you're a younger player or something like that. But I'm going to leave the blood on. So you also have floating text size. Now what this is like your combat text. So the original setting that it will come with when you get the game will be on the lowest setting, and the font is kind of small, and you can't really see the damage you're doing that well. And I know a lot of players, including myself, love to see those big numbers and love to see the impact that you're making on the monsters. So for me, in my experience, I just turn it maximum all the way up to 100%. And it seems to look really nice, and I'll show you a little example of some gameplay as we get into it, but it does seem to look pretty nice. Now the thing is though, when you get higher level, you're probably going to do obviously a lot more damage, so you might want to tune this down. And it is cool that you can kind of customize it a little bit, turn it up and down, so keep that in mind in the future here. Now in the audio settings, I do have the music turned off. The music, in my opinion, I feel like even when it's turned to the lowest setting, which is 10%, it's still kind of loud. So that would have been something that I feel like would be a little bit better, that could be worked on a little bit there. But these are the settings that I'm going with right now. You have the subtitles and everything like that. Now we also have in the video settings quite a lot of a decent amount of customization you can do for something like this. Changing the gamma, you can make it a very bright game, or you can make it a more grimy game. You can make it like a darker feel to it if you wanted to. And I like windowed borderless because it's good for streaming and it's good for recording and everything like that. But yeah, that's pretty much the settings that I have so far. Now you can do force 32-bit, so I guess this is for people that don't have as good of computers. You want to use something like that, and then these are all the controls that you can go through, but you'll pretty much learn it as you go, so nothing really that you need to really know right off the bat. Now in the advanced settings, you do have quite a few things, so you can change down the shadow texture details, which will help out if you feel it's a little laggy for you. Definitely something you might want to turn down. Same with like physics and character detail. For me, whenever I play any game, character detail is important for me to always have, like, looking nice, because it's what you see like all the time, right? So yeah. And a few things in here that you can, you know, reflections and little things you can play with to kind of, you know, make it a little more, run a little bit more smooth for you. This game does not require a beast computer to play. In fact, my computer is not that great, and even streaming the game and recording the game, it runs pretty smooth. And streaming and recording gameplay footage does actually slow down your computer quite a bit. It puts a lot of weight on your computer. So if I can do that with my computer that's set up right now, and I can stream it and play it, then, you know, an average computer that's maybe 2-3 years old would easily be able to do something like this game. So that's if you're not doing any of that. So you have VSync and everything. Now the FPS limit, now this is one thing that it does max out at 60 FPS. So you know, there are other action RPGs, for instance Diablo, I believe you can, there's no cap on it essentially. It can go like up to 200 or whatever, but honestly anything past 60 FPS isn't really super noticeable. It's nice, but you know, it's not something that you know, you should worry too much about. Now, if I had a better computer, this footage would be in 60 FPS, but it's just in your normal format for YouTube. And also in the characters, now you can actually, there's 6 different character types. You have Protector, so your tanky type class. You have your Bounty Hunter, which is what I'm playing, your range type class. You have your Elementalist, so it's kind of like a mage type. You have your Umbralist, which is kind of like a rogue type. And then you have this guy, which is pretty cool. I haven't really tried any of these guys out yet. And then you have your Constructor, and from what I've seen in footage, this guy like shoots like this really big beam out of his gun, and like, I don't know, looks kind of cool. Maybe like a, you know, a little bit of, not as tanky as something like a Protector, but you know, that seems like more of a mid-range type thing like these guys right here. But let's go ahead and get into the game and show you a little bit of it. And as I explore other, you know, classes and everything like that, obviously I would want to, you know, showcase that to you here on my YouTube channel if I do actually really enjoy this game. And so far I have to say I am enjoying the game. It's pretty fun so far. It's something a little bit different, but it's definitely pretty fun. So getting into the game right now, it is a little loud right off the bat. Like when you're sitting in the town, like this is your town right here, this is a secret lair. That's one thing that you know, even if I have my audio settings like not even that high up, you hear the kind of that that sound going on. So let's see which one it is. I don't think it's this one. Let me see which one it is so we can kind of, let me see if it's this one. It might be that one. Alright, it's not making that like loud rumbling noise anymore. That's just good. And you can always change that if you want to later on. That's something that I feel like just needs to be tuned a little bit. Now, I am a range type class, and there's a lot of stuff on the screen, and at first when you get into this game, you're probably going to feel a little overwhelmed about all this, especially if you just play Diablo 3, or you play games that, you know, you're not really like too familiar with action RPGs or anything like that, and maybe you've only played like Diablo 3 or you know, some other games out there that aren't as complex as something like this. Now there is some complexity to it, and like I said, it's going to seem a little overwhelming, but you know, it's important to just kind of take it a little bit by a little bit. The game does try to explain things to you a little bit on how things work and interact and everything like that, but obviously you're going to have to mess around with stuff and kind of feel like what's the best kind of way for you, because there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of customization, a lot of different things you can do. So first off, we'll take a look at our character here. This is your inventory. I do kind of like the setup and how it looks. Now, one thing that's kind of cool in this game is when you have a ranged weapon. Now, if you know, like in Diablo 3, when you like you're dual wielding, when you're dual wielding, you obviously have 2 weapons, right? So you need to find 2 weapons. But it doesn't work like that in this game. So when you find a weapon, it can be a 2-hander or it can be 2 1-handers. So it's always just one slot no matter what, which makes it easier to find, you know, ideal weapons, which I think that's a pretty, you know, cool idea. It just makes it a little bit quicker than, you know, being like, oh, I gotta find that offhand I've been looking for forever now, but you literally just look for one weapon, which is pretty cool. But yeah, so you can see definitely the slots here. This is something that's pretty cool as well. This is the trophy. So when you kill certain name type monsters, bosses, things like that, they have I believe it's a chance, or because I was playing in a group before and I didn't get the drop, but when you play solo, I don't know if it drops every single time. But the trophy is essentially when you kill a name monster, a boss, or something like that, they will drop items that are specific to them. So you can literally like have the slot for that. It's kind of like, obviously, like it sounds like a trophy. You wear it, you know, on yourself, saying I killed this thing and this is what I get out of it. So now let's take a look at some of the more items with more stats on them. So let's take a look at maybe this chest piece right here. So you can see that obviously it shows the quality, it shows the defense on it. So I think the defense is kind of similar to something like armor, like in Diablo 3. I'm not 100% sure though. And one thing that's cool is these come with a base resistance automatically. Now I don't know, I think Path of Exile does something similar to this. I'm not sure. It doesn't really matter, but I'm just trying to, like, you know, show some comparisons for you guys so you kind of like understand a little bit. But it does give you a little bit of resistance right off the bat. So physical resist, and this one's like an elemental resist, and this one is an all attributes right here that you can get, kind of similar to like a Diablo 2 type thing, getting those like all +1 and stuff like that, which was definitely very popular in that type of game. So you can get like single resistances, you can get you know, all attributes, you can get your elemental resist, you can get physical resist, so you can get the single resist. So pretty cool that, you know, you get that kind of stuff, and it helps you really build. It makes it so that there's more properties on your gear, which makes it that, you know, it's going to take you a little bit longer to get the more ideal gear, but it's going to be a lot more fun getting that gear, and it's also going to be pretty cool to you know, customize a lot more, which is one thing that's pretty cool. So here you have your body. Now let me go ahead and show you what these mean here. So I open up my not this one, is my character, yeah. So this is the breakdown on what that means. So body determines your physical condition. A high body value increases your melee damage and gives you bonus to HP. So if you're playing like a tank or something, or you're playing like a melee guy, obviously you probably want to go this route. Now for me, I'm a range character, so I want to go with dexterity. Dexterity determines how precise your hand-eye coordination is, and a high dexterity value increases your range damage and your dodge value. So that's pretty cool. And then you have your willpower, which sounds like it does. You get spell power out of it, you get bonus mana, and then you have your luck, which is kind of like Magic Find, kind of. Luck determines how lucky you are. A high luck value increases your chance of finding gold, magical items, and dodging. So it gives you a little bit of dodge in there too, which is kind of interesting. It also increases your damage dealt by critical hits. So that's pretty cool. Like, that gives you a lot of stats in there, a lot of different things to do. For me right now, I'm mainly focusing on dexterity. I am pretty squishy. I think for a character like this, you probably want to focus on dexterity first, body second, and luck third. Maybe doing luck second, and then bodies. It depends on the situation. Now here you have your DPH and your DPS. So your DPS, damage per second, as we know in the past. We also have DPH, which is damage per hit. You can see that this is based off of how quickly you click, right? And if I click faster, right? So it's based off of, it's not, and you can't like shift and hold it down, or you can hold it down, but you like charge up a bigger shot. But it's not really like you, like for instance in Diablo, when you hold down, you just hold down shift and you hold down your left click and just auto attack like crazy or something. So it's really based off of more skill shots than you know, just auto attacks in general. But yeah, it's pretty much what that is. And then showing my current resistance and everything. And then you have your detail page, which gives you quite a lot of stuff to go through. Similar type thing to like Diablo 3. You have your monsters kill. I like this page though. It's kind of cool. You have your Hall of Fame, like strongest killed monster. You have your like difficulties you're playing on normal. You have like monsters killed and everything. It's all in this like nice little compact area. I think that's a pretty nice touch. Not something that's like, you know, make or break, but you know, it's something that's nice. Now let's take a look at a couple other things here. Let's get a little bit more into the customization. We have your follower, and this is Lady Katrina. Now I don't know if you get additional followers later on in the game. You might, but I don't know for sure yet. And you can actually, you know, independently, she's like her own, your second character essentially. You can build up hers here. So what I do is I build up body so she's more tanky. And what I do is I switch her. You can switch her to melee or range. If you switch her to melee, she'll try and be a little bit more tanky for you. But one thing I will say is that I feel like, you know, going to have her as a tankiness and put her into melee, I would have liked to see her maybe taunt things more often, and you know, kind of have the monsters on her instead of you, because you will feel like you're, you know, even I'm a range character, so I want to sit back and just plow into things. But one thing, like I noticed that it's like, it would be nice if the follower taunted stuff for you so you could sit back and just do a lot of damage. And, you know, I do have a passive that, you know, you can't really see it here, but standing still for 3 seconds bestows more damage. So I do 20% more bonus damage because I'm standing still. So you ideally want to stand still so you can, you know, do more damage. So it would be nice to see the companion be stepped up in that way and be a little bit more important of a role. But it seems, you know, obviously it's just sometimes just kind of lingering and not doing very much, just additional damage. But maybe that will change in later on, I don't know. But so obviously I have DPS here for both of her abilities, her melee and ranged. And then she also has her individual gear that you can get, and the gear that she uses is follower-only gear. So, you know, this item right here, if I show it to you, it is red, so Katrina only. So I can't use this, it's something she has to use. So you can get specific gear just for her, and that's pretty cool. It does kind of limit what you can kind of do. Like if I find an item that I was like, oh, that'd be really cool to put on my follower, unless it's a follower item, I don't believe you can do that. I can try real quick to see if I can throw that on there. It doesn't look like it's going to work. Yeah, and a lot of the items, there are quite a few items in the game that are class-specific items, even at low levels, which, you know, when you're playing with friends, you want to be able to trade with them, and you can actually trade in this game. You can trade a lot of stuff. I don't know about the really high-quality items, if you can trade that stuff, like in the end game. We'll find out when I get to that point, but, yeah. So yeah, that's all of her stuff right there. And then we have, she can hold stuff for you. Yes, she can actually hold stuff for you. So let me show you real quick. So I'm going to go to a vendor.
This reminds me of my army days.
I'm just going to buy something. That's really expensive. Maybe I should not. These are all really expensive. Let me buy something like really cheap here. 6,100. Okay, whatever. So I bought this here, and now she can actually hold this for you while you're out on the field. You're doing stuff. You're killing stuff. Your inventory's filling up, and you're like, damn it! Like I don't want to go back to town right now. I just want to keep farming efficiently, right? This is something that has been a problem with Diablo 3 for a while. You constantly, like a lot of times, players will just literally not pick up items in Diablo 3 because they have to go back to town. They want to complete the rift. They want to go through it, you know, efficiently and look for specific good items instead of being able to pick up everything. In a game like this, having this kind of option allows you to, it makes you want to pick up everything, and that's a cool thing. So now what you could do is you could throw your items in the inventory here, and then you click send your companion to sell the items in her inventory. You can actually, so you click go shopping when you're out in the field. So let me go somewhere real quick and show you a little bit. Obviously this is the waypoint, the checkpoint thing here. Alright, so we're out here now, and I can click go shopping and she'll go and sell this for me. So let's go ahead and click that.
I'll be back.
And then she goes, and now while she's gone, obviously she's not going to be able to assist you, and she is gone, I believe, for the time, so she'll return in 52 seconds, and she'll go and get that. She'll go sell that for you, and then your gold will increase and everything. So that's pretty cool. Like, you can literally be out in the field killing stuff like crazy, be like, oh, I gotta sell some stuff, throw it on her, let her go back and continue playing the game instead of like spending so much time, oh, I gotta salvage this, I gotta do this and that. I like that. I think that's pretty cool. I believe this kind of idea was in Diablo 2. I don't remember, but I have been told, people have told me that, and you know, I haven't played that game for like ever, but it's cool to see them like picking stuff from like different genre, different games and stuff, and putting a lot of cool stuff in here. Now we also have, while she's doing that real quick, we also have your skills. Okay, so this isn't something that's as complex as something like Path of Exile. There's a huge skill tree to do in Path of Exile, but in this, it's a little bit more compact. And there we go. Boom, she's back. There we go. And we get that gold. Thank you very much, Katrina. That's it. So, so yeah, you have your... So when you level up, you get skill points that you can put into here. You can see that this is my left click ability, and I've leveled it 5 times already. So you can literally think of like in Diablo 3 with like the rune system. Essentially what it is like if you were to pick a certain rune on an item, like on a skill, and then level it up, so make it even better. So that's pretty much what it is. So there's a lot more customization on it. So you can be like, okay, I really like this skill. I feel like it would be really strong if I, you know, leveled it up. And that's kind of like the idea behind it. So I like that aspect of it for a game like this. You can see that these are your power-ups. Now I gotta talk a little bit about that in just a second, but you can see that you go through, I don't know what these card things are just yet. There's a minimum requirement level here, minimum skill level requirement. So this one is 5. So I can actually learn this stuff now. Let me see. Oh, cool. Okay. So this one decreases aim time on targets marked by seekers. Sweet. Alright. Can I get any of this stuff yet? No, I guess you could unlock it like one at a time or something, and then you kind of build this up more. These right here, they're just like bonus additional things. to power it up. So this is going to power up your left click, and then you're going to have these power-ups that come into power up your overall stuff, and then also you have these, which is going to like give you additional stats, additional things on top of it. And then you have your auras, which I haven't looked into yet. It sounds like a passive thing. So this one right here, so I don't have, is this something I can like throw over here or something? I don't know yet, so we'll have to see in the future. But I'm definitely going to look more into this stuff so I can be a little bit more helpful for you guys. So that's the skill tree right there. So then you also have the power-ups that I told you about. So that would be these buttons over here. Now, how they work is they're based, you have health, you have mana, just like a lot of games do, and you have rage in the middle. And I believe every class has rage. I'm not 100% sure on that yet, but yeah, you have rage in the middle. And now what happens is, and I'll show you an example of this. Let me go and find, maybe there's some monsters here. Now, there's a setting that lets monsters respawn if you leave and enter the game again. So that's why I think there's no monsters here, because it doesn't respawn the monsters for you unless you want that to be the case. I feel like that could be a good thing, and it can also be a bad thing. Also, when there is items on the ground, like these boots that I just found, you can look at them just like in Diablo 3 with your control button. So you can tell right before you pick them up, but you kind of want to pick up like literally everything. Yeah, it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to find... Let's go back to town real quick. You go back to town with T for teleport. And I'll show you a little bit of what the rage looks like. Let's go into... Now, I believe the waypoint at the bottom is the farthest that you've gone so far. And also, when you're doing the waypoints, they're pretty cool because it's kind of compact into one. So if like you're playing with a friend, it'll give you an option, go to that player or go to your TP or go to another location with your waypoints. So that's pretty cool. Alright, so there is some stuff up here I can go kill. As you can see, it's not explore. You can hit M and it puts it on the map like this for you, which I think is pretty cool. Kind of reminds me of like D2, putting the maps up there for you. Okay, we got some monsters here, so let's go ahead and take a look at them. Okay, you see that I'm building up my rage now? And now I can power up my ability. So I get 150% damage increase and persistent damage increase by 150%. So I don't know what the persistent means, but you can see I just hit for a lot more now. So, and those power-ups, now the only thing is there is an option in here that allows you to... if I can show it, an auto power up. I don't know if this is something you should use, or if because you want to be more precise about it, you want to pick and choose what to put on there. I don't know if it picks whatever the best is for the scenario or something. I don't know, but you guys can mess around with that, and I will as well. So I have this one right here, which is a 50% damage one for every tick I do, and I have this one where I can pierce through multiple targets for every tick that I do. So I can hit that one, and there we go. So now it's additional target. There we go, 2 targets. So now when I go and hit something, see these guys right here. See, now I just hit multiple things. So I got 2 additional targets. So pretty cool, pretty cool. Let's try the charge up ability here. So stand still for a second. Oh. Oh, she's gonna kill them all. 1,300 damage. Oh my god. That's pretty cool, man. I really hope there's like a spec for like just literally like lining up like snipe shots like that. That would be cool. Oh, what did we run into here?
Look, an old sacrificial site. Brings back memories.
It's a gateway to the deepest ink realms, which are, as we learned, the dwelling place of some truly nasty creatures. And someone has tried to rip this gate open.
Now you can skip through this by hitting your left click button, or if you want to hear it, you can hear it. And there's also choices that you can make as well. So it will give you like, you want to do this or do you want to do that? And that's kind of cool. You kind of choose your destiny, essentially.
It involved drawing an arcane
instead of just being like, do this, do this, do this, right?
Or
alright, so let's skip to that a little bit. So, yeah. There's a chest right over here. Let's see what we get there. So we got some, so you can see here, it has, when you find items, it also has the, like, up and down percentages, like up and down things. So if it's green, it's like, you know, going to give you more stuff. Like for instance, right here, I get more mana, but I lose health, and I lose protection, but I get spell power. And then obviously, like when you find items, it tells you like the damage per hit, everything like that. So that's pretty cool. So there's a little bit of example here. Whoop.
Every time I make a mistake, the cracks get wider.
Yeah, I haven't done this yet, so. Okay, I have my AoE here, which is my right click. So it puts like a dot on them, like this poison thing. I'm gonna go ahead and power up my damage, and boom. Okay, is that it? I guess I gotta click each one of these. Oh, I gotta do like a certain order? Is it like a pattern or something? If I do it incorrectly, I summon monsters. These guys are kind of crappy ones. There are some pretty difficult mobs, though, to deal with. You also have your health pot, which is bind to Q. And I believe it just, you have infinite health pots forever. It's just on a cooldown. Kind of similar to what Diablo's done recently in the game. Alright. So let's show you a little bit of example here. I know this video is quite long. But there's a lot of explaining, a lot of things to look into. And I will definitely venture into some more stuff, especially if you guys enjoy this kind of stuff. I'm enjoying the game so far. I don't really know too much of what to expect, but from what I've seen so far, I've pretty much enjoyed the game, which is pretty cool. So there's so many things that I'm summoning. Man. I don't even know if I'm getting XP for this. I haven't been taking a look. It's right at the bottom down there. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to town. Let's go back to town real quick. Alright, so back in town, there's a lot of things to explore, and I don't want to like go into literally everything in this video, but there's so much more stuff to do. For instance, here's one thing you can do with your Chimera. So what you do is, he just gave me a bunch of items, and you'd be like, well, how did he do that? You can send him on missions, kind of like in World of Warcraft with your garrisons, with your followers. You can send them on missions to go do stuff, and he'll get XP, and he'll be able to fight more difficult things and bring you back rewards. So you can see that I've sent him to a few places so far, and I'll send him to this place here and say go hunt, and there we go, and he's gone. And then you also have your storage, which gives you a lot of room here, similar to Path of Exile, the way that it's set up slightly. I don't know if there's a lot of reorganizing here. I don't know if there's any more customization you can do with it. But man, there's so much stuff in here, though. Like, to even go through and try to cover everything. You have your perks, which you build off reputation. So I think that, like, the farther you get into the game, the more reputation you build up, and you can pick up like these passives. Like for instance, this one here gives me more dexterity and dodge. This one gives me 10% damage while at max rage. So yeah, pretty cool stuff to go through, and I mean, there's so many things, man. So I'm definitely going to try it out some more, and like I said, I will be live streaming this stuff, and I will be doing a giveaway for the entire series 1, 2, and 3, so you guys can try it out. And in the future, I hope to get some more keys for you guys to hook up even more of you guys, and definitely can recommend trying out the game so far from what I've seen. But you know, like I said, with action RPGs, literally the worth of an action RPG comes down to the replayability and just how much there is to do. But so far there seems like there is quite a bit, but only time will tell on the rest of it. So that is all for today, guys, and until my live stream or my next video, my name is Shinobi, and thanks for watching.